Zimdars and Marco Chackon. These are the originators of the fake news. Leftist chain letter. Melissa Zimdars, who goes by Mish, is a feminist Merrimack College assistant professor in Massachusetts. She made up a list of so-called fake news, which included non-left actual news and opinion sources, lumping them in with the likes of Hustlers, The Onion, etc., which are spoof news sites. She said she did that because she did not approve of the sources her students were using. That list became a huge chain letter as it was reposted by scades of progressive publications and shared on social media. In a 2014 article from liberal magazine Little Village, Mish said,
"Girls is meaningful to me mainly for one reason: Lena Dunham's naked body."
Melissa Zimdars is apparently part of the so-called body positive movement, which doesn't even belong on the left, since the alarmist and fat-shaming food cop movement, closely connected to veganism, is also on the left. But no matter where a person is on the weight spectrum, it must suck to be someone like her, obsessed with body shape and size. On October 4, 2016, Mish tweeted,
"Trump's constant sexist, racist, homophobic, and xenophobic comments.
That is quite a mouthful of liberal propaganda buzzwords." Then there's Marco Chackon. He is a liberal troll and a contributor to the Daily Beast, otherwise known as the Daily Beastiy. In a November 20, 2016 Daily Beastiy article, Marco Chackon brags about trolling the internet for 6 months by starting chain letter rumors to fool the political right. He did his part trying to make as if non-progressive news was fake news. As his article is heard and being smashed down, remember how progressives fooled themselves and then couldn't handle a Clinton loss.
This troll's article is such a pile of sick that it gave me a virus. Nevertheless, it needs a good smash down.
I've been making viral fake news for the last 6 months. It's way too easy to dupe the right on the internet.
So you're a troll and you're proud of it. Excuse me for not giving you a pat on the back for that. Progressives are just as easy to dupe, but the difference is they tend to dupe themselves. That is why glass-ceiling feminist propaganda is in the mainstream media. And after 8 years of Obama, there are so many social cleansing warriors like Zarna Joshi getting away with harassment as they shout accusations of harassment toward whomever they choose to bully. That's why feminists like Jessica Valenti are actually writing articles for publications like The Guardian, which are supposed to be neutral. The left tend to keep many of their own chain letters to themselves. The right has a nasty habit of trying to make anything they agree with go viral, also known as chain letter, and much to your childish delight, without checking if the stories are authentic.
Here's what I learned trapping trending algorithms and the people of Facebook, even when I wasn't really trying to.
Of course you weren't, yeah right.
At first, I created fake news stories that were meant to be head-turning. Hillary sold passport-making machines directly to ISIS.
Chain letter 1, a ridiculous story no one truly believes.
Obama won't say the words radical Islam because it would break an Islamic spell he thinks he is protected by.
Another incredibly stupid story that no one believes unless they're into that dumb idea that Obama must be a Muslim because his name is Barack Hussein Obama or some such trash. Again, you couldn't fool me with that garbage. I've been saying for ages that left-wing trolls are behind at least some of the far-right chain letter schlock that went around during the Obama years, so you just proved me right. And since when does Islam do witchcraft? You might not have thought this one through very well, Marco, but I sort of think witchcraft is against this little thing within Islam called Sharia. So that's 2 chain letters you've just puffed yourself up over creating. How many more?
I did an expose on the reason the Clintons were immune to prosecution.
No, you didn't. You made up a bollocks chain letter and called it an expose. You were sure that would really grab every conservative and maybe even some moderates, and they wouldn't be able to resist the call of the share, and you laughed your fool head off when that chain letter spread like wildfire. Hoax admission count 3.
It was, I wrote on my website realtruenews.org, because they were sovereign citizens and therefore immune to the justice system.
Bullcrap. 1. The so-called sovereign citizens or free inhabitants are not immune to the justice system, they just think they are. 2. They tend not to give out their full names, the Clintons never withheld their names. 3. The movement is not interested in being part of an established government. So there's your 4th hoax from this article, shot to heck.
It was silly and no one paid much attention to it.
Just going to show that the people you were targeting weren't as stupid as this particular hoax. That must have been awful for you. Not enough attention, and you went into lulz withdrawal. But obviously you didn't give up. You wanted that lulz high at the expense of some conservatives or others on the non-left, and you just couldn't control yourself. You just had to keep churning out stupid lying chain letters.
At least that's what I thought.
Because chain letters could end up anywhere, and if people can believe them,
forward or die.
People can believe anything, even if it's something as stupid as your absurd trash.
I didn't know about Before It's News,
which is a publishing platform for any and all viewpoints on the most recent happenings around the world.
Or the ecosystem of YouTube conspiracy theorists.
Another word the left uses to slag the non-left as nutters. Part of the reason they suddenly switched to shrieking about fake news is because they just got caught touting some huge conspiracy theories of their own, such as
the alt-right is run by Russia. Russian hackers are behind Hillary's opposition. Trump is putting Nazis in the White House.
And it was the Clinton camp that started birtherism.
When I wrote an anonymous interview with someone inside 538 single quote S headquarters. This interview had a source saying what everyone knew, that people paid for polls as a psychological tool and that Nate Silver was in trouble because the real polls showed Trump winning in a landslide. This was on August 2nd and, at the time, Trump was tanking in the polls prior to the conventions.
Well, anybody can make a stupid poll, and yes, they can be mucked with, so I never pay attention to polls. You wanted Clinton to win, CNN wanted that as well, polls or not, she lost, deal with it. Hoax admission count 5.
By that time I had a stats program up showing my traffic and I saw a huge spike. Where was it coming from? 2 YouTube videos, watched hundreds of thousands of times.
Who cares?
And a vast number of conspiracy sites that copied the various explanations, all of which linked back to my page.
And that made you so euphoric that you could barely stand it.
Seeing my dialogue and screenshots come out of the mouths of people solemnly reading them was a thrill.
Oh, I'm sure you were just beside yourself, bubbling over with ecstasy that some newbies believed your stupid chain letters, especially since they had no idea who you really were.
But it was also scary.
Yeah, right, you might get scared of people willing to believe things that are different from your worldview, even if it is in the form of one of your dumb hoaxes. You get no sympathy here.
These people believe this.
You already went on about that.
And then, of course they believe it. They've been told to believe it. Why wouldn't they? Smart, reasonable people got caught up in poll unskewing in 2012. The mix of political desperation and absolute faith in a liberal media conspiracy was a toxic cocktail that meant anything could be a lie, especially if it was good news for liberals.
And then came 2016 where everyone was told Hillary would win, and they believed it. And why wouldn't they? They were told to believe it. Not so smart people got caught up believing everything the pro-Clinton biased mainstream media told them about Hillary and Trump, blind to the nastiness of the anti-Trump campaign which condemned anyone who would not vote for Clinton as racist or sexist. The mix of political desperation and absolute faith in a conservative conspiracy of racism and sexism was a toxic cocktail that meant everything from Republicans that was not racist or sexist sounding had to be a lie, especially if it was good news for Republicans and anyone who couldn't care less about race or gender.
Never mind the humorous beats, like Nate Silver, frustrated with Trump's dominance, was going to throw himself out a window, literally.
Which brings your hoax admission count up to 6.
Never mind that this conversation was absolutely unsourced. That Real True News was run by a guy calling himself, literally, Max Insider.
So-called Real True News is your site, and even the name is a tip-off that it is bogus as the day is long. Hoax admission count 7.
Never mind any of that.
Oh, right, just never mind. Sure, this is good to know, so people can be warned away from your side of real stupid lies.
Here was proof the polls were faked.
No, it was your stupid hoax. People stopped listening to the mainstream media carrying on about Clinton's lead in this or that poll. When all is said and done, there's only one kind of poll that determines an election outcome, the voting booth, and considering all the balderdash you merrily spewed out to make fun of Republicans, you deserved to lose.
At that point I started creating other characters.
Oh, this should get interesting.
I created #Never Ever Hillary, a 20-something young woman who wanted Bernie Sanders to give her a $100,000 per year job blogging about the revolution, and was certain she deserved it. She mocked ridiculous Huffington Post Sanders booster Hal Goodman, writing that she believed him entirely and made a fool of herself.
Hoax admission count 8.
I created Project Pyramid.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme to me. The bad spelling of the word project would even make this fake look fake. Hoax admission count 9.
A totally mysterious entity that exposed the catastrophic secrets of the deep state.
No, just a stupid hoax that belongs on the deep web.
During this phase 1 took a few requests. A friend sent me a meme asking why Obama didn't light the White House blue after the police killings, but did light it in rainbow colors for gay marriage.
So you took requests to make up stupid hoaxes. Well, trolls will flock to other trolls. Hoax admission count 10, even if it was the recycling of a chain letter someone sent you.
I did a story saying the White House was lit in blue to celebrate police killings and conservatives were outraged.
And you were walking on air, totally high on your own stink. Hoax admission count 11. You would not have fooled me with that stupid chain letter either, though I might have screamed on my channel or one of my sites at conservatives to stop spreading it around and looking like fools for the likes of you.
My friend loved it.
Of course your friend who had to be another troll, loved it.
But didn't have the guts to post it to Facebook.
Guts has nothing to do with it. It doesn't take guts to be a troll or a friend of a troll. Whoever this friend of yours is, probably just didn't want to lose their other Facebook friends.
Real True News' second brush with fame
Notoriety
came a week later with a story entitled Clinton Collapse. Insiders say may drop soon.
Hoax admission count 12, and this one is like all other stories about her health. I don't believe in laughing at people's ill health, or speculating in a smug way how bad they might get. I wished everyone would stop with the health stuff concerning Clinton. It has nothing to do with her ideology, and rumors are just that, rumors.
This story featured a DNC technological war room where the Clinton forces were in chaos because her support was collapsing. This was when guys like conservative talk show host Bill Mitchell, who did, in fact, write into Real True News at one point to discuss a mention of his name, was saying that Hillary's lack of support on Twitter meant she was losing.
I hope he suspected your bogus story and you for the junk it is in troll your hoax count 13.
The story had the all-purpose anonymous insider saying that attacks calling Trump racist had failed. That Hillary was buying followers, but all of Trump's were legit.
I don't give two craps about who supposedly buys followers, but you actually got only one thing right, purely by accident. Calling Trump racist did fail. He got elected.
Studies show this is not true. A lot of Trump's supporters are bots.
I'm sure there were a few bots on either side. I don't care. That's just media polls anyway. Humans vote in actual elections. When some article says studies show, that usually means there is bull crap coming right up and it's meant to make the reader or listener be persuaded to a certain view. You might as well just throw down your ammo and go sulk in a corner. You will never convince me of anything beyond being of the opinion that you are a troll who starts chain letters that far too many Republicans have unfortunately already bought into, and you're a loser.
It also touched on concerns about her health and hypothesized that, unable to participate in a debate, they would stage a Black Lives Matter riot or maybe a terrorist attack to stop them from happening.
blah blah blah.
This was breathlessly repeated all over the place.
And you were on cloud 9 over it, loser, liar.
And then Hillary did collapse. From pneumonia and dehydration, she appeared to pass out while getting into a van. Suddenly, the Clinton collapse terminology, some fortuitous alliteration, went nuclear.
That's not fortuitous. In your case, it's called dumb luck. It got absolutely no help from me.
The hits lit up.
Much to your wild delight, troll.
I was partially aghast, but also partially gratified. It was bullshit, but it was consumed as absolute truth.
I don't buy your aghast thing for a second. You were over the moon. You really got high that so many people got so unfortunately taken in by your stupidity and ate right out of your dirty lying hand. It was total gratification for you.
The fact-check section was popular for search engines, so I did one asking if Trump was a Russian stooge. False, it declared, of course. I was gratified when, in the article, I gave him a code name claiming it meant golden lion in Russian. I used Google Translate to translate ugly hair, and a Russian Trump supporter wrote in to correct me.
Hoax admission count, 14. Wow, such stupidity. I could probably make up pro-Hillary hoaxes too with fake stats and code names and all that garbage, but unlike you, I have a life, and haven't the slightest interest in making up stupid hoaxes. I'm at the opposite end of that scale. You are mud as far as I'm concerned, and so is any site associated with you.
I wrote one of the 2 articles I've redacted around then too. When the right was agonizing over Evan McMullin throwing his hat in the ring, I wrote up a story photoshopping a Clinton Foundation document to make it look like he received money as part of the White Horse Initiative, a mythical Clinton Foundation program using actual Mormon prophecy about saving the United States.
Because you probably think Mormons are morons to end, White Horse, I would have picked that up as a laughable error and called out your chain letter for the horse poop it is. White Horse is a place in the Yukon. Hoax admission count 15.
Later, when a bunch of hits started coming in.
Because when you're not making up stupid chain letters, you're counting counters and waiting for hits. It must suck to be you.
I put a retraction at the top and blamed Jill Stein for the misinformation.
Hoax admission count 16, idiot.
Following the Wisconsin primary, I had a story out that morning suggesting Paul Ryan's opponent Paul Nellon had actually won the vote, but had it stolen from him by Democrats wanting to test their election-stealing software, called Dem Votes Matter, against a Trump-like opponent.
Hoax admission count 17, and it just gets more and more idiotic. Dem votes matter? Oh, please.
This was picked up the next morning when one of the guys behind the excellent decision desk team asked if anyone had of the election was stolen. Take from last night, and Andrew Stiles of News Corp on Teat Street told him, on Twitter, real true news is on it.
And you thought heaven couldn't possibly surpass the absolute elation you felt at someone else falling for one of your stupid ongoing gags.
It took everything I had not to come clean right then, but I was thrilled.
Of course you were, troll.
It got even better when Wonkat wrote a story making fun of real true news, the idiots who believed the election was stolen. Not realizing it was satire would become a theme. They also said in the article they'd probably never write about real true news again. That turned out to be false, although they didn't attribute the follow-up to RTN.
Well, that's one cat for you. There's some sort of Gawker offspring anyway, so now we have a troll trolling a gossip mag. Don't ask me to pick a winner here.
But the huge breakthrough came with the public policy polling memo. When PPP released a poll showing a major Clinton lead in Florida, I downloaded their PDF, turned it into a Word document and edited it heavily.
Hoax admission count 18.
All the polling mythology went into it. Trump was up by huge numbers. The more corrupt Hillary was, the more Democrats loved her, and so on. It was absurd. The spelling was iffy, I saved time by not editing anything, but it had a section in it where the author, at wit's end, complains about college posters, like Quinnipiac's co-eds and Monmouth's Bernie grade weed.
Another stupid chain letter. You don't get rewards for that here. And did I mention that I don't give a crap about polls? Though you're stealing and editing a document from an actual polling system to pull off a nefarious hoax should land you in deep trouble for plagiarism and misrepresenting of whoever you stole the material from.
It went super viral.
Chain letter, and you were higher than a kite over it.
One of the most accidentally brilliant things I did was
absolutely nothing.
Set up a scribed document sharing account. I had seen legal docs and such posted there, so that was what I did. I could have hosted it natively, but it seemed more authentic to put it on the site and post a link.
Because you wanted to look authentic enough to avoid being detected for the troll you are. How noble.
What I didn't realize was that people could and did find the scribed document without going to real true news first, or, often, at all. This accidentally enhanced its credibility because it didn't come from a clearly bogus website.
But no matter how it's packaged up, crap is still crap.
For their part, PPP took it fantastically well, mocking people with their signature Twitter wit and steadfastly refusing to disavow the obviously faked document to the anger of conservative detractors.
No, they didn't take it well. They completely west out. Apparently there are some die-hard liberals among that organization too. Or maybe they were just afraid of being called racist.
When polling director Tom Jensen mentioned the memo in a podcast, I almost jumped out of my seat.
Oh, I'm sure you did. The highlight of your sorry excuse of a not quite life.
To be clear, they were amazingly good sports about this.
April Fool's jokes are entitled to reactions of what is termed being a good sport, provided the joke isn't in terrible taste and doesn't do harm. Lost games and lost elections are entitled to the losing team or side being good sports. There is no such entitlement for stupid trolling hoaxes. You should have got a good arse kicking.
Even if I made their days a lot harder and brought even more internet wrath down on them than normal.
Yep, you're a waste of internet space.
When I did the same thing later with Monmouth, it was, unfortunately, completely different.
No, that would have been fortunate.
One of my proudest moments with the memo was a Daily Kos article written by the site's founder Marcos Chackon himself, asking whether the faked memo was a pathetic right-wing attempt at propaganda or a brilliant left-wing forgery.
Ah yes, the illustrious Daily Kos. Funny how when a conservative says it, it's pathetic propaganda, and when a liberal says it, it's a brilliant forgery. Forgery is illegal, and no matter how clever criminals like to think they are not brilliant at being human, and that's where it really matters.
I couldn't break character to tell him it was the latter, but I was proud to see the online poll asking that question was close to 50-50.
And your head swelled up even more, obnoxious troll.
As I understand it, a lot of people took Jonathan Swift seriously too.
Hoax admission count 19.
The faked Monmouth poll actually upset them. I got a complaint to the website and was asked to remove their name from the page. I did, but the document was already out in the wild, as were ubiquitous screen caps of the front page.
Good on Monmouth.
I owe those guys a box of chocolates or something. I wouldn't do it again.
You owe me one as well, for having to read through this tripe in order to smash it down into its proper place. I wouldn't trust anything coming from you, though. It might be a box of chocolate-covered roaches, nor would I pay you for them.
On the plus side, though, it got RTN written up by David Weigel of the Washington Post.
If it's washed up Washington Post, there isn't any plus side about it unless you are a liberal or a troll, but you're both, so, enough said. I'm sure he was really pleased with your hoaxes and added his own dumb disparaging comments about conservatives like conspiracy theories and the like.
In the article he writes that the memo itself is nearly a parody of conspiracy theorizing about what goes on in the media and elite institutions. Nearly.
When Van Jones calls a Trump win a white lash in glass ceiling is in girl power ads, that there are even girl power and so-called anti-racism ads at all. And let's not forget the sleazy way Sony mismanaged the PR campaign for their ham good awful femme Ghostbusters movie. You'd have to be blind to still believe there is nothing biased going on with the media and their elites. Don't forget Clinton's own conspiracy theories, mainly patriarchy, Russia and the alt-right sitting in a tree, and the birther campaign.
Despite a Wabo story pinned to the top of Monmouth's page, people still believe it to this day.
Which gives you a lulz high, but Washington Post has no more monopoly on truth than you do.
There was more. The biggest breakout I had came when a Vice reporter, Michael Tracy, was holding forth on Twitter in the wake of the Podesta email leaks. He was speaking about the Goldman Sachs transcripts, and I had won.
Hoax admission count 20.
I had written up a fake Goldman Sachs transcript days before, wherein Hillary Clinton is preparing a run for president and is speaking to the board of directors in 2014 about the coming threat to Wall Street and Washington power. That threat, bronies, adult male fans of the cartoon My Little Pony, friendship is magic. She has to explain this brony threat to them and, in the process, describes a group of internet denizens she calls a bucket of losers.
No one who knows anything about the Britney craze at all should buy into that pile of pony poo. Bronyism is actually very feminism-oriented with elements of furry thrown in.
When I tweeted the link and an image of some of the text at Tracy, I did it because I find him to be something of a self-important git and wanted to poke fun at him.
Said Mr. Self-important arrogant git troll himself.
I didn't know at the time that there were Goldman Sachs transcript fragments in the WikiLeaks release.
Why would that even matter to you? Never let the truth get in the way of a bad story.
The tweet went super viral.
And you were super happy once again. Clinton already trotted out her stupid basket of deplorables, so I don't understand why anyone could fall for this BS quote. What new trick are you going to come up with next? Claim that Hillary called Gamergate a barrel of monkeys?
It started an almost trending, but still going today, ## bucket of losers. A tweet declaring it a bad forgery was picked up by Malcolm Nance, an intelligence analyst for MSNBC among others, who tweeted to be wary of the WikiLeaks release.
So they were telling people to believe you over the stuff coming off an archive of Hillary's emails, or maybe this is just you lying again.
Tracy, appalled by what he saw as casting doubt on the noble truth of WikiLeaks.
Because your truth is just so much more noble and true. Yeah right, loser.
Declared me a possibly paid propagandist in Hillary's employ. The too minute internet hate was turned on me.
And you laughed like an idiot.
Now, I wasn't recognized as the creator of the document, and I had never said it was from WikiLeaks, nor did the RTN article mention WikiLeaks. But by the end of that night, I saw a note that Megyn Kelly had just apologized for reading it on the air.
And that really must have got your blood flowing. You would have been totally pumped. Head nearly exploding out of sheer glee. Hillary Clinton had to revise her sniper fire story quite a few times, and it somehow didn't turn out any truer with each retelling. Brian Williams and to make an apology for saying he was in a plane that got hit when he was not.
My blood froze. That was not a good feeling.
I would have thought that was music to your ears. A Fox News contributor having fallen for one of your stupid hoaxes and reading it on air, now having to apologize for being fooled.
I went desperately looking for a video and I found one. She was talking to 4 people about the leaks, and, while 90% of her discussion was on the actual WikiLeaks, she at one point awkwardly stated that it appeared Hillary had referred to Sanders supporters as a bucket of losers.
So that must have made you feel incredibly relieved that this embarrassing footage could still be had.
I was stunned. I found a clip of her retraction later saying that was false, but not divorcing the statement from WikiLeaks. Howard Kurtz apparently also read the bucket of losers tag on the air and didn't retract.
Which just tickles you pink and rainbow sparkles, I'm sure.
That, plus the Nance tweet, had some impact on the WikiLeaks reception. This was entirely unintentional, but Russia's state-sponsored news agency Sputnik, of course, saw a conspiracy. A hilarious conspiracy.
The only conspiracy was between you and the sad cast of chain letter characters in your head.
That did not stop Lance, who with a firm intelligence background should have been able to easily spot the fake with chaos actually written in the sidebar and make sad quotes written before the bucket of losers piece in the completely comical so-called transcript, from referencing the document and saying, official warning, #podster mails are already proving to be riddled with obvious forgeries, ampersand #black propaganda not even professionally done. After Magi and Kelly pushed the false narrative and then apologized on air, another more establishment Fox News personality Howard Kurtz also referenced the bucket of losers statements from the grotesquely comical fake transcript that has nothing to do with WikiLeaks whatsoever and claimed it was from the WikiLeaks document release, which, again, a 5-second typing in the whistleblower's search box would tell you immediately otherwise, in what no doubt teased up Clinton to claim it's all a fraud at the debate.
No conspiracy there. Sputnik just isn't impressed with your amateurish writing.
Grotesquely comical? I guess I'll take that coming from Russia.
Oh, you poor baby. Did the Russians hurt your feelings? Everything about your crap is grotesquely comical, and that's putting it nicely.
Some of the stories took a whole lot of effort for very little immediate payoff.
Oh, cry me a river. So you didn't get enough attention and pats on the back, and didn't manage to get every single conservative falling for your moronic hoaxes. Too bad for you, troll. Go get a coloring book. That should make you feel so much better.
For one, I found out that Correct the Record, a pro-Clinton super PAC that intends to correct the record on Hillary, on Reddit and Twitter had a Slack chat room, but it was Correct Record. Correct the Record wasn't taken.
Who cares?
So I took it.
Apparently you do, of course. Another opportunity to troll. Hoax admission count 21.
I signed up a bunch of users, created 4 personalities, and had a chat about hunting and maybe killing meme thought leaders on 4chan and Reddit. I had been looking in the public financials for a payout to something that looked shady and I didn't find anything, but I wound up using first initials / last names of real people who were paid by Correct the Record and people were able to figure it out.
That's you, shady. Hoax admission count 22.
I also had the analysts arguing about not wanting more lunch from We the Pizza, a real pizza place from which Correct the Record had frequently ordered. When internet sleuths googled We the Pizza, they were stunned to discover it was a real place in the middle of Washington, D.C., just down the street from Center's offices.
Hoax admission count 23.
To 4chan, this was all the proof some users needed.
4chan is where you belong.
Another Center document went super viral when I created a how-to troll memo that had specific insults to be hurled at Trump supporters.
Chain letter count 24, typical childish troll crap.
This included pole flogging.
At this point I can't even demark sympathy for you. This is truly pathetic.
Which I thought was a clearly obvious euphemism.
Because of the whole flogging of slaves in the past, which makes your stupid joke go right down the crapper.
But I didn't see anyone call it out.
Most people probably have better things to do than hang out with you on your idiotic trolling sites, so if it wasn't called out, maybe not too many people saw it, but that's just a guess.
Wherein center-paid trolls would fling polls at Trumpsters showing him losing in order to demoralize them.
Which totally gave you a sadistic selfish kind of high, and, flinging polls, how on earth do you fling a poll with a double L? That kind of poll is spelled poll.
This caught fire and people felt that hey, that happened to me. It must be paid trolling.
And you laughed your big stupid blockhead off. Look, I don't buy into the whole they must be paying for this and that online. I'm not completely dismissing it either. Maybe sometimes people are paid, sometimes not. You don't represent the whole internet, not even every single troll. You have no idea what every other troll does on the net, let alone if they are being paid or not.
It's not paid trolling. It's just people who disagree with you on the internet.
You don't just disagree with people, you spread hoaxes, you make fun of people who don't share your politics, you're a troll.
At the end of the day, did this change anything?
Cut the fake philosophy, it looks monumentally stupid on a troll.
I don't know. I think I inadvertently hurt WikiLeaks, which I'm not proud of.
You give yourself way too much credit, and you can ditch the fake modesty too. You're not sorry for the bucket of lies you dumped on the internet for your lulz addiction at the expense of conservatives.
But I'm not too sorry about either.
You're not sorry at all, admit it.
I suspect that some people came to realize that they were believing in fake things.
Yeah, like Hillary is going to win, guaranteed.
For people who are desperate, however, believing in grand master plans to bring them down, no matter how obviously fake they immediately appear to be, is almost a necessity.
You just described feminism and BLM.
For moderates, I think it's a bit easier to avoid pitfalls.
Which is why Hillary Clinton ended up losing.
The mainstream news may not always be accurate on everything.
It is often grossly inaccurate, on a lot of things. The Trump win shows the public has finally awakened to this and are saying something about it.
But there is a lot of it and they get the main points right.
No, Trump is racist, Trump is sexist, Hillary is the one who cares and she is being relentlessly attacked by Trump. This is a white lash, all of that is inaccurate and just plain wrong.
For conservatives there is no trusted media.
Wrong. For moderates, there is no trusted media.
There are only trusted positions.
If you are a Democrat.
Breitbart, WorldNet Daily, even InfoWars now count as on my side places where they believe the real truth lies.
Think again, they've caught on to you.
When the only news you are willing to believe is partisan news,
which the shamestream media has become.
You are susceptible to stories written in your language that are complete, obvious, utter fabrications.
Yes, like white lash.
Real true news has Trump signifiers all over it. The language uses from right-wing blogs.
Because if a troll wants to look authentic, he has to go researching various vocabularies. I could probably write a feminist hoax site and sound convincing, if I wanted to, but I don't.
Several of the articles are written with overt sexism or implicit racism that comes from the alt-right.
No, it comes from your own wasted brain, and your pathetic wishful interpretation of which you consider to be akin to Satanists. The alt-right, you probably prefer the Satanists, actually.
This is like the protein shell of a virus that allows it to penetrate a cell.
In other words, a parasite. You are an internet parasite. You thrive on making trouble for other people. That's what parasites do.
The DNA payload, the story itself, is then injected straight into the brain, bypassing critical thought.
And the result was people going to pieces when Hillary Clinton lost.
This is a problem on the very far left as well. The doctrine that Bernie had his nomination forcibly stolen or that the Democrats are colluding warmongers seeking literal thermonuclear destruction is deep and entrenched.
And feminism.
The difference is that on the left, it is not nearly as monetized.
Yeah, right. I don't care about monetization or keep track of who or what is or is not monetized. The real difference is that the left are busy making up chain letters to fool the right, while keeping a lid on where their own progressive chain letters end up. They really want conservatives to keep spreading chain letters so they can mock them, but you already know that, not so much with their own.
The main voices are far more mainstream, like Rachel Maddow and Stephen Colbert.
Those people are far from moderate, they are very much progressive left.
The Rush Limbaughs of the left either do not properly exist or reach far fewer people.
Wrong, you don't want to hear or know this, but Rachel Maddow, Stephen Colbert, Van Jones, Chris Matthews etc. are all left-wing rushes.
There are fake stories, but the media machine to promote them and sell advertising with them is not yet mature.
Not mature? How about just not quite called out for what they are?
What ads do you sell on a Clinton stole the primary website? Plagiarized college papers.
Who cares? This isn't about boring ads. This is about your stupid hoaxes and the whole dumb fake news progressive chain letter trying to make everyone believe that anything that disagrees with the mainstream media is fake news.
Still, I would like to think, perhaps in the margins, that real true news either made people's lives a little more exciting, in a generally good way.
Definitely not. Speak for yourself only. Your side is garbage and your attitude sucks.
Or, perhaps, gave them pause about believing everything they read.
Wow, look at you, little Mr. Professor Marco Chackon, trying to teach the world about truth. What a pathetic joke.
Read this list.
If it's Melissa Zimdars' list of smears, forget it.
I write fake news. Here's what works.
No kidding, loser, and your truckload of lies. Over and out.